Welcome back to Python tutorial. In this tutorial, we'll be going over the strings method and properties. Alright, so as you can see here, I already saved it with string methods and properties. Right, so let's get into it. So one of the properties of a string is it is immutable. Alright, immutability. Right, so let's go to Google and quickly search immutable. Right, okay. And now let's go over here and you say dictionary and you say unchanging over time or unable to be changed, right? So what this simply means is that when you save a variable to a string, it is not easy for you to change it. All right, you can't change it. That is what it means. All right, it is immutable. Okay, so now let's get into it. Let's save name, right, is equal to Lucia. And now let's run, and of course name, let's call it name, and we'll have Lucia. Right, so we want to change this L to K. All right, let's see if it's going to work. Let's say name, and using indexing, I'll say index 0. Then I want to reassign it to K, that is the L to K. All right, so now we put it in a string and say K, and let's run. Of course, when you come over here, it says string object does not support item assignment. Right, it means that it cannot be assigned. Okay, so there is a way to do this, and that is actually slicing. Okay, we can grab a subsection of these, okay, and store it in a variable and then save it. Okay, so now let's do this. Let's grab it first. All right, let's say name, sorry about that, let's say name, and indexing, so that should be we are starting from index 1, right, to the end. Right, so now we'll say we have this UCIA. All right, so we want to save this to a variable. Right, so let's say short name, right, short name, and let's save it as this. Okay, so now when we run and we'll call on short name, of course we'll have this. So now what we'll do is we say that is short name plus, and we'll call on the K and save. All right, so now we'll have this. All right, but it is not in the order that we want, so let's change it and let's cut it out and say K, all right, plus short name, and now we'll run. I'll have Kusha, right? Though it doesn't make sense though, but I'm just using it to explain, and I hope you understand it. Right, so now we have been able to change the L to K using slicing. All right, this is actually known as concatenation. All right, string concatenation. All right, and there's something you need to know about string concatenation. Right, let's type it out. Concatenation. Right, concatenation. So now one of the things you need to know about string concatenation is that it cannot add a number with a string together. All right, so now let me show you a quick example. Let's say 10 plus 2, and we'll have 12. Right, so now when I say 10 plus 2, look at what we have. We have 102. All right, so let's store this inside a variable and say num1, and save it and run it. And then let's store this into a variable also and say string num, right, and I'll save it together. All right, so now let's run it. So now let's check the type of these, and let's check the type of num1. Okay, and you see the answer is going to show you an integer, right? Int, integer, right? So now let's check the type of the string num, and you see what it says. Let's copy these and paste here and run. And it says string. Okay, so this is because that whenever a number goes inside a quotation mark, whenever anything at all goes inside a quotation mark, Python recognizes it as a string. So rather than adding 10 plus 2, what it did here, all right, let me call on, what it did here was to concatenate it. It just added this to the last place here. All right, so now there's let's proceed ahead and go to multiplication. All right, string multiplication. All right, so now let's say we want to have h into 10. Right, so now let's say letter is equal to h. Right, I want it to appear 10 times. All right, so let's call on letter and we'll have h. Okay, so it will be so boring to be writing letter 1, letter 2, letter 3 and be saving them. So what you can easily do is say letter times 10. All right, so and you have these h. So now something else I also want to show you is that you can use that to say you can use the string concatenation to do multiple things, right? So now I can say what is, right, and save it, concatenate it and store it in a variable. All right, so let's say what is your name, right? So I will need an answer. Say let's save this with my name, right? My name, and let's save it. It is equal to let's say Lucia, of course. Lucia, right? So now let's run and let's concatenate them together and let's say what is, see, and add it here and say plus, all right, name. Okay, so let's do this and let's run. Of course, you will say what is your name? I see Lucia. Okay, let's make this look nice and let's say my name is Lucia. And let's run. Of course, you see my what is your name? Let us put a question mark here. All right, let's run. What is your name? I see my name is Lucia. So they are together because we did not add a space, all right, at the end. So now let's quickly add a space here. Okay, and let's run. Of course, it looks nice, right? What is your name? My name is Lucia. So this is it for string concatenation. Let's try to add a letter to, what was that again? A letter and a number. I was trying to show you that it won't work. Okay, so let's grab this short name, all right, and say short name plus 2, right? And let's run. Of course, you see can only type error can only concatenate string, not int, all right, to string. All right, so you can only concatenate string to string. So now watch this. So when I make this 2, when I turn it into a string, of course, and run, of course, see, you see this UICA, UCR2, right? So this is how you basically do concatenation. So let's go into string methods, right? So now, okay, let's say name, and we have is equal to Lucia, of course, Lucia, right? And now we want to, let's run, and we want to like transform this letter, right, to uppercase, lowercase. So all you need to do is say name and dot and your tab key, all right? So when you click the tab key, all you will see this string methods, right? You see case fold, capitalize, center, count, encode, index, and is alpha, and so many. So we will actually go through the ones that we'll be using all the time. All right, so now let's get into it. So let's say Lucia dot your tab key. I'll say let's not use capitalize on this one and say upper. Let's look for an upper. Then remember to include your parentheses, and you run. Of course, everything here changes. And so something else you need to pay attention is to that this is not in place, right? It means that when I call name, you're not going to see this capital letter. Okay, so let me call name. All right, and let me run. Of course, you see Lucia in small letter like usual, right? So if you want to have these in a capital letter, all you have to do is save it in a variable, right? So you have to just say, all right, let's say updated name, all right, let's say is equal to the upper. So when I run this and I call on updated name, of course you're going to see all capitals, right? So now let's say let's make a sentence. Let's say send and is equal to, let's put it in a string. Okay, let's say I am leaving home. All right, so now let's run this and let's call on send. Let's say dot capitalize. Right, let's click on this and have capitalize, and remember to put in your parentheses, and then you see I am leaving home. Right, everything is in lowercase. Right, so now let's change this updated name to lowercase, all lowercase. All right, so let's say updated dot lower. Right, and let's put our parentheses and run. Of course, see Lucia. Right, so now notice that whenever you call a function or a method in Python is actually expecting you to add a parenthesis. Okay, if you do not do that, it is going to show error. So let's do this again one more time. Let's copy, paste, and take out the parentheses, and now run. Of course, you see function string.lower parentheses. Python is just telling you that, hey, there needs to be a parenthesis here, right? So let's try and do one more example with this I'm leaving home. Let's say send.split, all right? Split and other parentheses, and we run. Of course, you see it changes this whole thing into a list. All right, it's a quick way to change stuff into a list. So now let's check the multiple words we have here. We have two words. Okay, we have I and I2. Okay, all right, so now let's see something. All right, I want to show you something. Saying let's say you just want to quickly take out all the A letters inside of your words, and you say end the split. All right, hold on, this is wrong. Okay, yeah, split, and now your parentheses, and you say A. Okay, and we have error. Right, so what's our error about? Say A is not defined. Okay, and why is A not defined? All right, so I've been able to figure it out. Okay, so when I run this code, all right, let's see, it says name I is not defined. All right, this is because Python does not recognize this I and this one here, and this one here, and this one here. Why? Because this it's not inside a quotation mark. So now let's put it inside a quotation mark. No, let me leave this here and run it. Okay, I could have made another video and but it is always good so that you can see and know how to trace back your errors, right? So let's put it and run. Of course, you can see I am leaving home. Okay, so it takes out the I here and put a white space. Okay, So you'll be wondering, is this not an I? Right? Is this not an I? This is because Python is case sensitive. All right. So now let me put these, right, and add it here. Right. When I mean case sensitive, it pays attention to uppercase and lowercase. Right. So now when I run, of course you see this is missing. I just put a white space here. Right. So I can say something like, okay, name, who, like, let's say x is equal to, let's store this in a variable, in a string rather, and say my, just want to show you some of the methods of using it. My name is Lucia. Right. So now let's save and let's say x dot split. All right, I know we haven't done so much on list, all right, but up next, I think that's what I'm going to talk about. All right, so now let's add this hash sign, all right, and this, and you see it takes out this hash and say my name is Lucia. Nice. So this is it for this video, and up next we'll talk about list. And of course, please pay attention to this one. It should always go into a string. All right, I forgot and I had to trace it back and find the errors. All right, so thank you so much for watching. This is a bit long. All right, so I will see you on the next one. Thank you.